Good day everyone, I'm Hurley Barafai Reviews here, back at it again with my review for the Intuora. Yes, this is the first time that I'll be reviewing their product, and this time it is the Impact. So this is the my review for the Intuora Impact. Okay, but before I proceed, I'd like to thank Intuora for sending this unit to me in an exchange for a very honest and transparent review. Rest assured that all of my reviews are honest and transparent to the core like I always do, for the benefit of everybody, of course, including me. Since again and again, I won't be editing this extensively. English isn't really my native language, and I prefer writing reviews rather than recording them. Another disclaimer, this specific unit, the Intuora Impact, is currently in the prototype state. So my unit here is technically it is a pre-production unit or probably a prototype. So there will be possible changes from what I understand down the line once the Intuora Impact gets live or got hit, or probably it hit the shelves, so to speak. But at the same time, from what have I known, or from what I know according to the brand itself as we talk, the only thing that is different from the when comparing the prototype or slash pre-production unit to the live unit is its cables, accessories, ear tips, all of that stuff. Since I do believe there has been some, I'm not sure if it's a logistic issues when it comes to the materials that are used in the accessories or stuff like that. But anyway, I will be reviewing the pre-production unit or the prototype unit, since based on my experience, this is literally 90% I believe of what will the Intuora Impact will be in its final form. Okay, so the Intuora Impact has a targeted price of 300-ish or 150 USD to 300-ish US dollars. But from what I know as well, it could be lower by the time that the official version hits the shelves. I'm not really sure. From what I understand, the only thing that it kept its target price a bit on the 300 USD-ish side is the accessories, I believe, because the live version in theory should not have these accessories. Should have it should have some better accessories, again, from what we've talked, and I kinda agree on that one if we're targeting the 300 USD price range. Second, they also oriented me that the Intuora Impact is based or is inspired based on the target sound of the Sennheiser IE900, which is a 1DD flagship IM from Sennheiser. But they clearly said to me that the Intuora, sorry, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, but from what I understand here in the card, it is Intuition Oral. So I'll call it Intuora. So the Intuora Impact is in no way can go toe-to-toe or even level the Sennheiser IE900. They clearly stated that, and I would like to commend that. I would like to commend them for that one, because most of these brands that I have encountered today clearly claims some hyperbolic marketing schemes, hyperbolic claims, pretty much every exaggerated thing that you could know of. But Intuora keeps itself very humble, very grounded, very realistic on what product they are doing or what product they are releasing. So I would like to commend them on that one. So we'll see if the Intuora Impact is a somewhat reminiscent of the Sennheiser IE900. Luckily, I have write my notes before for the Sennheiser IE900 when I reviewed, or sorry, when I encountered and personally auditioned it on a local convention here in our country, like 1 or 2 years ago, because I am pretty sure that I won't be owning the Sennheiser IE900 anytime soon, because it is hella expensive. Let's face it. Okay, so here's the box. As you can see, here's the box. It is quite simple. It is very minimal, as you can see here. There we go. As you can see, it is very minimal. Intuora Impact in-ear monitor, live an impactful music life, and Intuora. And I do like the minimalism on this one because it is well thought, in my humble opinion. It doesn't seem to keeps its overall presentation and packaging bare bones like some of the brands that I have reviewed, and at the same time it isn't that flashy, because at the end of the day a box is a box, and it doesn't really matter to me or to some people that I know that much, and they usually prefer just keeping the accessories and the earphones and just throwing the boxes away. So props to Into Aura for this one, for making things very simple, straightforward, and minimalistic. And as you can see here in the back section, or the back side of the box, here's the some basic information here. So it is in 20 kilohertz frequency response. Its model name is Impact. Its cable is 1.2 meters. It is detachable cable, of course. It is in 2-pin, so you'll be having no problems there. The plug is 3.5. The driver here that they use is a 10mm dynamic drivers. They didn't say anything specific, and I'm not sure about on what type of driver that they have used here, but most Into Aura IEMs that I have encountered in the internet uses a one dynamic driver. So in theory, the Into Aura Impact uses one dynamic driver as well, which is a really good thing for what it sounds like, which I will tackle later on. So as for the accessories, you'll be getting here, it is quite bare bone in my opinion if they are targeting the sub 300 USD price tag, or it is like 15,000 pesos in Philippine money. Yeah, it is quite bare bones, but again, it gets the job done. So this type of accessories can mostly be seen within the sub 100 or 100-ish USD category. But the quality on this one is quite okay for what it's worth, but at the same time, again, that level of premium should be achieved if you're achieving an IEM to be priced at 300 USD, in my humble opinion. So this is everything that it comes with. You get this one, the IEM pouch, which I really like. This is very handy for me. You also get these two sets of ear tips, which I personally did not like, for a reason. Since yes, you'll be having this one, the soft stemmed ear tips and the hard stemmed ear tips here. Both of them sounds okay, but it somewhat hinders the potential, or the full potential of the Into Aura Impact when it comes to the overall sound, particularly in its mids, or on how it presents the mids, and I will discuss that later on. Here is let's go to the case itself. The case itself is okay. I remember this type of case, I kinda encountered this on BQ EYZ IEM, so there's nothing new here. It's a basic case, but at the same time, it is quite uncommon to see a color like this one when it comes to case. And you'll get this very thick, this is a card, literally a card. It is quite thick actually. I'm not sure if you're seeing it carefully, but this is quite thick. It is not flimsy. I have the number, or the unit number here, which is 1711. It also has some QR codes here, the user manual and such, the groups. So yeah, there's that. Nothing new here. Here's the cable. Again, it is quite basic. It is even much more basic when compared to the Heidi's cables that comes with their IEMs. But again, I kinda understand they had some slight problems when it comes to the sourcing of the cables, from what I understand, as we've talked before. So yeah, this will not be the cable that will be released with the final version. I am hoping for the best. They said it is a better cable. I'm not sure on what it looks like, or I don't know anything about the cable that this will comes with, but I do hope that the cable that this Into Aura Impact will be in motif with the IEM itself. So there's that. Okay, and here's the IEM itself. I must say that vent on the faceplate is very unique. This is my first time seeing a vent like this one. And you can also see the undersides here, wherein I'm not sure if can be seen correctly, but it is translucent. So yes, probably this is resin with some tubes in it. I can see some tubes in it, which is a really good thing. And yes, that is open back. But at the same time, I can I'm not sure if it's like pronounced or semi-pronounced to be an open back, because comparing this to my Kiwi Ear Septet, which is a literally open back IM, this doesn't seem to bleed music, or this doesn't seem to bleed the noise or the music here in the faceplate. So this is probably just a vent for the IEM, which I am not sure if that's how it works, but yeah, I had no problems fitting this in my ear. And as you can see here, my ear tips are different this time. Why have you changed that? Well, I have already finished. Again, I have already finished my full review for the Into Aura Impact like 3 days ago by the time that I record this review. So I changed the ear tips for a better fitting ones to my ear and better sounding ones, in my humble opinion, to my ears. And the ear tips that I used here, by the way, is the uh Roselsa. Yes, this is the Roselsa ear tips. They're stock ear tips for their Roselsa QT9 Mark III, I believe. So there's that. Okay, now as for the fit, comfort, and isolation, again, you'll be having no problems here with the Into Aura Impact. It is quite small actually, and very, very lightweight. So if you're using an IM like, let's say, a KZ IM, or probably yeah, the KZ ZS, the ZS10, ZS10 Pro, or probably a SimGot IM. Yeah, this is like within the same ballpark as what you would expect here with the Into Aura Impact. It is still there, but it is slightly on the smaller side of the spectrum. So those ears that are on the smaller side of the spectrum will have no problems fitting the Into Aura Impact properly. As for those people that have a big ears or a deeper earlobes like myself, or an ear canal, sorry, or an ear canal like myself, you might find the Into Aura Impact a little bit shallow when it comes to the isolation, when it comes to the fit. But at the same time, it doesn't seem to fit negatively in my ears. I never had any problem with that, since I do believe the last time that I have encountered an IM with this kind of fit with is the BQ EYZ Autumn. The BQ EYZ Autumn has that shallow fit as well, but I had no problems with it, which is a really good thing. And it kind of reflects here in the Into Aura Impact as well. I could use this all day without any form of fatigue or fit fatigue, so to speak. Okay, now as for the drivability on this one, the pairing on this one is, I'd say it is very versatile. Yes, it is definitely versatile. I don't seem to struggle when it comes to mix and matching pairings here with the Into Aura Impact. It pairs with all of my dongles as well, whether it be the warm sounding dongle like the Sonic Memory SA500, which I have here, the Snowski Melody, which I also have here and reviewed, and at the same time, it doesn't seem to have any problems pairing with my other sources here, like for example the EFI or iFi Zendak V2, even the Sense-Stack actually, although it is not advisable that you use it with an amp because it doesn't really need that, or probably the DD Hi-Fi TC44 Pro i3. It doesn't have any problems pairing with any dongles that I have here. But for good measure, or if you want something smoother, if you want something more thick, lusher, although this is like reasonably thick on its own, you may want to use this with a warmer sounding dongle. But for me, I pretty much use this with my upcoming review for the Venture Electronics Galvatron. Yes, I do have the Galvatron in my desk right there, and I'll pretty much use this with the Venture Electronics Devastator or the DD Hi-Fi TC44 Pro i3 because it fits my preferences really well there. It isn't that sensitive when it comes to the improvements or quality of life improvements when it comes to dongles, so that's a really good thing. Okay, now as for the sound, what does the Into Aura Impact sound? Does it really sound like, or does it resemble like a Sennheiser IE900? Well, in my opinion, it is a yes and no answer when it comes to those types of questions. Why is it yes? Well, it is yes because this sounds like a mild V-shape ish to me, while at the same time it keeps the balance all throughout. So some people, or most people including me, when the first time that I've listened to the Into Aura Impact, it sounded like a balanced set to me. It doesn't seem to present any frequencies more than the other. It keeps itself very coherent and very balanced. Some people, like a friend of mine, literally said that this sounds natural. To them, this sounds natural. But at the same time, the more I hear it, the more I listen to it, the more I use it daily, the more I compare it to the other benchmark IEMs that I have here, it is clear that the Into Aura Impact is a mild V-shape-ish set. But the V-shape on this one is so good that it did remind me of the Sennheiser IE900 by the time that I record this. By the time that I record this review and remembered my notes that are lying around here in my Google Drive, which is a really good thing because they never claimed to be like on the par or on the level of the Sennheiser IE900, but the Into Aura Impact reminded me of how it sounded, because it's sure it is a mild V-shaped set, but it isn't like any other mild V-shaped set that I have reviewed later on, because the mild V-shaped ish set on this one is very mature, very balanced. It only shows when the track needs it, which is a really good thing, because most people, or most IEMs, most IEMs just want to slap you a bass or a treble whenever they want to. But this one, it is very, very controlled, very mature. I had no problems with it. In fact, despite me being a neutral head type of guy or an etymotic type of guy, I actually love the Into Aura Impact for what it is worth. Okay, now as for the bass on this one, just like the Sennheiser IE900, it is a mid bassy. Yes, it is a mid bass dominant set, and it is adequately punchy, but it doesn't have the voluminous sub bass that some people or bass heads at heart will look for. But the bass literally only shows whenever the track calls for it, and it does it in a very pleasant and satisfying way. I never find myself, or those people that I have lent and borrowed this for like a 20 or 30 minutes ish session or two, any problems when it comes to the bass quantity and bass quality of the Into Aura Impact, because it is definitely well done. It is textured, it is detailed, and it is well controlled without any form of smearing to the other frequencies, which I really like, and which is also the most prominent factor, in my humble opinion, that I encountered on the Sennheiser IE900 years ago. So yeah, so far so good in this section, but I'll discuss later on the other frequencies. Moving on, now as for the mids on this one is well placed. It is well placed. It is adequately open. It is definitely vivid and somewhat spacious, but at the same time, you know me, I prefer a slightly forward, airy vocal presentation or mids presentation, which the Into Aura Impact doesn't really have. But at the same time, its presentation is very natural. It doesn't seem to color anything. It doesn't seem to add some coloration or anything like that. In fact, it is quite unforgiving to poorly recorded tracks or mastered tracks, up to the point that there is those old tracks, those old test tracks that I'm using, like for example the Black Eyed Peas, the Boom Boom Pow, any what do you call this, Pussycat Dolls or anything like that, sounded really horrible here with the Into Aura Impact. But at the same time, those tracks with a very mastered or very well done mastering, very well done recording, like for example Sabrina Carpenter's Man's Best Friend, or probably Turnstile's latest album, Deftones' latest album, even the Fleetwood Mac's latest repress, or the 2000, I believe the CD that I have here is the 2004 repress version or the remastered version, I'm not sure. It sounded really good here in the Into Aura Impact, that it is quite very it is very silky smooth, but at the same time very detailed, very holographic, I'd say. But yeah, that's the spoiler for the technical chops. But yeah, this one the Into Aura Impact is very unforgiving and at the same time very rewarding for those tracks that deserves it, which is a really good thing. So yeah, despite me being a neutral head, being a mid-centric type of guy, I love the mids on this one, on the Into Aura Impact, because it is well made. um I understand if you're saying that I'm a shill in this one, but yeah, I can't deny. And even those people that I have lent and reviewed, lent and asked for their quick impressions on this one, they just said that it sounds really good for what it's worth, and they kept asking me for how much will it cost or something like that, but I can't say exact things, because again, even myself, I don't know how much will this cost. So there's that. Okay, now as for the sibilance or anything like that, it doesn't have those. It doesn't really have those. It doesn't have any abnormal sibilance peaks or harshness, unless the track has it, or like for example, some of the Celine Dion's tracks, Pussycat Dolls tracks, probably some of Taylor Swift's tracks, especially those old tracks, those old non-remastered tracks. Yeah, if it has a sibilance to it, the Into Aura Impact will show it. But if it doesn't have it, well, it doesn't have it. So yeah, again, the Into Aura Impact is quite, in my opinion, a very transparent sounding IEM for a V-shaped sounding set. Okay, now as for the treble in this one is mildly elevated. I'd say it is a little bit elevated, more elevated than the bass response, but for the most part, they are quite similar when it comes to their presence and elevation. So you'll get a very pleasing, well extended technical or treble here. Sorry, you'll get a very well extended treble here, very airy, at the same time very detailed as well. The detail on this one is above average in my humble opinion. Probably one of the most detailed one dynamic driver sets that I have encountered so far, which is a really good thing. Now, as for the technical chops on this one is one of the highlights, in my humble opinion, my personal highlights. Why would I say that? Well, I am honestly stoked, and I am honestly shocked that the technical chops here in the Into Aura Impact for a 1DD, yes, for a 1DD IEM can go toe to toe with the hybrid sets or the IEMs that I have here with a hybrid driver configuration like 1BA 1DD or 1BA 1 planar, 1DD 1 planar, or something like that. It goes toe to toe with this one. But of course, one dynamic driver is one dynamic driver. It is well tuned. I'd even argue that the tonality of the Into Aura Impact is definitely better than those, but at the same time, the technical chops is definitely a little bit better. But it isn't really night and day actually when compared to the hybrid sets. So the soundstage on this one is quite tall. It is very tall. It is adequately wide, but I wouldn't call it grandeur or like a concert or like a hall or a wide hall, so to speak. I would call the soundstage on this one is like a room. Yes, it is like a well controlled room with a speakers on front or on the surround of the room or something like that. Some people say that it is a well treated room or something like that, which gives it that surround type of sound which the Into Aura Impact has. So yeah, the overall sound stage on this one is very very immersive, very holographic. The height is actually ceiling-less in my humble opinion, with a good amount of depth. Separation and layering on this one, it is on the above average side of things when we're looking at the bigger picture, but it is definitely on the excellent regard when we're only talking about one dynamic driver IEMs, because it is still incisive, it is still clean, but at the same time it still keeps that natural cleanliness to it. It never sounded too incisive to my liking, but at the same time it never sounded lacking or slouching to my liking as well. The imaging on this one is still dead precise for what it is worth, as you would expect with 150-ish to sub 300-ish US dollars IEM. Okay, so where should we compare this? We should compare this with the sets that I have reviewed that has a nearly similar sound to it. Like for example, the Kefine Quattro. When compared, the Kefine Quattro is more bassy, more V-shaped, and at the same time thicker, definitely thicker than the Intuora Impact. But at the same time, it kinda loses on the articulation, it loses on the decay, on the cleanliness of the Intuora Impact. As for the technical chops, the Kefine Quattro is definitely wider. It is wider than deep, while at the same time the Intuora Impact is quite spherical, definitely spherical on the overall soundstage. When it comes to the separation and layering, the Kefine Quattro is slightly better, a little bit on the layering, but the Intuora Impact is better on the separation, mainly because it doesn't have that boomy bass response or borderline boomy bass response that the Kefine Quattro has when comparing here with the Intuora Impact. Imaging is it is quite precise. It is definitely precise on both sets. I don't seem to see any big differences between these two sets as well. And yes, both of them are easy to drive and will have no problem pairing it with other IMs, so to speak. But the Kefine Quattro's advantage, of course, it is its build quality, because that one is full metal and it is rounded. And at the same time, the cable in this one is far, far better than what we have here in the Intuora Impact. But do take note, this is a prototype unit, so things things may subject to change once it goes live. Okay, where should we compare this next? We should compare this next with the Heidi Smart 12 Tourist. Right out of the bat, the Heidi Smart 12 Tourist is definitely wider, more grandeur, more immersive when it comes to the soundstage, but loses a little bit on the cleanliness, separation, layering, and imaging when compared to the Intuora Impact. The bass is also more chunkier, a bit slower, and borderline boomy actually when compared to the Intuora. The bass on the what do you call this, the Heidi Smart 12 Tourist has that kinds of characteristics when compared. As for the mids are much more open, clean, and natural on the Intuora Impact when compared to the Heidi Smart 12 Tourist, which is understandable, because yeah, because the Heidi Smart 12 Tourist, in my humble opinion, focuses more on the soundstage. Okay, now as for the treble is much more relaxed. It is much more muted, but it isn't really like muted, like hyperbolic muted. Not at all. It is safer, so to speak, on the Heidi Smart 12 Tourist when compared to the Intuora Impact. When it comes to the pairing, the Heidi Smart 12 Tourist is a little bit, yes, it is a little bit harder to drive when compared to the Intuora Impact, but not by a lot. Which, that being said, I recommend you pairing the Heidi Smart 12 Tourist with a 4.4. Yes, pair it with a 4.4 plug, because again, or a 4.4 millimeter cable, because yeah, that big of a driver needs some power to it. Okay, now where should we compare this? We should compare this with the ZGAT Crescent. Yes, when compared, the ZGAT Crescent is a much more JM1 tuned, or a meta tuned one, when compared to the Intuora Impact, wherein the Intuora Impact aims for a more traditional yet more refined V-shape or mild V-shape approach. So yeah, comparing these two, definitely the ZGAT Crescent is a more boomy, bassy, sub-bass elevated IEM, while the Intuora Impact shows the bass only whenever the track calls for it. As for the mids is much more present in terms of forwardness on the ZGAT Crescent, but at the same time, the details, the layering, the nuances, the articulation are better on the Intuora Impact. The treble on this one, I picked the Intuora Impact because it has a little bit of spice and elevation going on, whereas the ZGAT Crescent, the ZGAT Crescent's treble, it is still well extended, of course, but it doesn't have that slight energy there for me to call it lively. Okay, now where should we compare this next? We should compare this next to the, although it is quite unfair to compare this with the Kiwi Ear Septet, but okay, here we go. We'll compare this with the Kiwi Ear Septet. When compared, the Kiwi Ear Septet is definitely better on the technical side of things. It is much more incisive, much more precise, much more cleaner, and at the same time much more immersive due to its open back design, true open back design. But at the same time, it loses on the tonality when compared to the Intuora Impact, because the Intuora Impact keeps things balanced when it comes to the quality and quantity of each components of the track that you are playing. So yeah, you have to pick on which is which, or which do you prefer. I actually prefer both, but at the same time, if I, as a reviewer, I prefer the Kiwi Ear Septet because I kinda need to check the nuances or the technicalities of an IM whenever I review. Okay, now we'll switch to the Tagalog version of this review for a quick rundown of the Impact. Okay, si Intuora Impact is a 15,000 pesos or 10 to 15,000 pesos na IEM. Sabi nila baka mas bumaba pa daw, and itong unit ko is a pre-production unit, so mukha talaga siyang bare bones, and literally bare bones siya. Pero yung final version is hindi daw ganito yung cable, mas maayos yung case, mas maayos yung ear tips, mas maraming ear tips. Stuff like that. So ayun nga, pre-production unit to or prototype unit. Probably magkakaroon ng changes once na naging official na nailabas to. Claim, okay, sinabi ng Intuora themselves or claim nila na inspired itong Intuora Impact sa Sennheiser IE900. Sa mga hindi nakakaalam, yung Sennheiser IE900 is yung one of the latest flagship. Yes, latest flagship siya ng Sennheiser, and 1DD lang siya. So medyo big claim yon, but at the same time sinigundahan nila na hindi naman daw one to one, hindi daw one to one or hindi daw exact copy ng Intuora Impact yung yung Intuora Impact yung Sennheiser IE900, which I commend them kasi lahat ng tao ngayon apparently sobrang exaggerated na ng mga reviews, remarks when it comes sa products, lalo na sa IEMs, para lang makapag-promote. So yeah, props sa Intuora na medyo medyo grounded, medyo realistic. Ayun, medyo honest sila sa sa kung anong ginagawa talaga nila. So yung sound nito katulad ba or kahawig sa Sennheiser IE900? In my humble opinion, oo, medyo hawig, pero at the same time, syempre hindi siya one-to-one copy. Saan siya hindi one-to-one copy? Sa rendition ng mids at treble. Kasi yung mids at treble ng ng Sennheiser IE900, wait lang, basahin ko yung notes ko dito. Okay. Siya medyo engaging. Oo, engaging siya at the same time kahit na sibilant yung track or fatiguing yung track. Hindi siya sobrang pangit. Hindi siya sobrang sibilant or hindi siya sibilant at all sa IE900. Whereas itong Intuora Impact is mas transparent talaga siya when it comes dun sa upper frequencies. Kasi on its own hindi siya refined, 'di ba? Hindi refined yung upper frequencies neto compared sa IE900, but at the same time, kung ano yung mastering ng track at halimbawa pangit yun, edi pangit din yung kalalabasan ng maririnig mo dito sa Intuora Impact. So very transparent siya when it comes to that, which is very unique, very uncommon, kasi mostly na nakikita kong ganun yung remark ko is nasa neutral sounding sets, probably mid-centric or treble-centric sounding sets, while itong si Intuora Impact nasa balance side of things siya, mild V-shape nga siya, pero nagpapakita siya ng ganung remark. Okay, now as for the technical chops, yung technical chops nito, sobrang solid niya para sa one dynamic driver na IEM. Na napasabi ako na okay, kaya niyang pantayan yung mga naka 3DD, 1BA or 3BA, 1DD, yung mga hybrid sets talaga na maraming drivers. Kaya niyang pantayan doon kasi na-balance niya yung tonal tsaka technical chops ng maayos sa price niya. Pero ayun, syempre, pero hindi naman niya kayang technically most of the time talunin dahil na lang din kasi na syempre multi drivers yun, so mas may hati or parang mas may distinction kung saan pupunta yung frequency to, kung anong gagawin ng frequency to, ganto ganyan. Meanwhile itong 1DD dynamic driver, literally all of the time is a one man army. So ayun nga, sobrang technical niya, very magandang technical chops niya para sa one dynamic driver. But at the same time, since hindi naman lahat ng tao naghanap ng ganung type ng remark pag bumibili ng IEM, I'd say on par siya sa mga hybrid sets, pero hindi, most of the time hindi niya kayang lumibel when it comes to that. Okay? So mare-recommend ko ba to sa price niya? Oo, talaga, as long as papalitan nila accessories nito, kasi hindi talaga siya worth it when it comes sa accessories. Hindi siya okay sa accessories para sa price na hiningi nila. Kailangan nila palitan to. Pero once na napalitan nila itong mga to and naging deserving na siya, easily ito yung parang pinaka mai-recommend ko kung willing kang gumastos talaga para sa IEM ng like, let's say 10k, 15k, ayan. Ito talaga yung pinaka mare-recommend ko right out of the bat, kasi sobrang complete, sobrang natural, sobrang ganda ng tunog niya. Well balanced talaga. Okay? Now, I'll switch to the English version for my verdict here with the Into Aura Impact. Okay? Now, what's my verdict here with the Into Aura Impact? Well, the Into Aura Impact has become my favorite. Like, literally my one dynamic driver favorite for the past, I don't know, week or two, by the time that I am comparing and contrasting it, making a review for it, because this one is a very well balanced set. To be specific, it is a mild V-shape-ish set, but at the same time, I don't feel like anything is lacking here with the Into Aura Impact in-ear monitor. But at the same time, those things that I am looking for only shows up when the track calls for it. Like for example, the bass or even the treble on this one, it only shows whenever the track calls for it. That extra spice and extra boost only shows whenever the track calls for it. Not to mention it is its technical chops. The technical chops on this one is very immersive for a one dynamic driver, which I really like. Most of you know me that I prefer tonal over technical chops, and for a one dynamic driver, this floors most, or is even on par with the hybrid sets that I have reviewed for the past year or two. So if you're willing to shell out, yes, if you're willing to shell out at least sub 300 USD on a one dynamic driver, well, my top recommendation for you will be the Into Aura Impact, because it is really well tuned. It is well tuned, it is well implemented, it is well done despite it being a one dynamic driver. This goes to show that it doesn't really matter that much, or having a very good amount of drivers is only the 50% of the total experience for an IEM. Tuning and drivers go hand in hand, and the Into Aura Impact really shows it. So yeah, I will recommend this if and only if the live version is already out, and at the same time they change the accessories on this one to be a more fitting and a more premium level when it comes to the accessories that you'll be getting for a 300 USD IEM. But if they, like, let's say, sell these cheaper, or probably like a 100 USD or 150 USD, well, definitely this is a top recommendation for me if you're looking for a 1DD IEM that is well balanced and doesn't have any fuss or problems pairing with other USB DACs, sources, or even dongles that you have there. And that ends my review for the Into Aura Impact. Do take note, again, the Into Aura Impact that I have here is the prototype or the pre-production version. This is still not the final version of this product. Okay? I'd like to thank Into Aura for sending this unit to me in an exchange for a very honest and transparent review. Rest assured that all of my reviews are honest and transparent to the core, like I always do, for the benefit of everybody, of course, including me. Since again and again, I won't be editing this extensively, English isn't really my native language, and I prefer writing reviews rather than recording them. Okay. Now for my next review, I have a lot here. Apparently, Sivga sent me their earbuds, which is the Sivga M300. The Venture Electronics, yes, the Venture Electronics sent me their Galvatron, which is a really good thing. It really piques my interest, and I'll be probably posting a quick impressions of that one sometime soon. There are other sets or stuff that is along the way, and hopefully they won't get jinxed, hopefully. And thank you for, oh, it's already 40 minutes on the mark. My apologies on that one. Thank you for listening to this one, and see you on the next one. Isa pa? Last one.